Hey Life Group Leaders, Tim Osmus here. It's been quite a while since I've did a video for you guys, and there's a couple of things going on. Number one, I had some technical difficulties with the camera, and also I think sometimes if you get to doing videos too often, it becomes background noise, so I kind of took a little break from that. But it being the new year, I thought I'd go ahead and do a video for you today and talk through some of the things that we have going on, and especially what we've got going on with discipleship for the coming year. But let's kind of start where we always do. Let's look at our numbers. Last week, 1-5, we were at 237 total, 225 at Highway 76 and 12 at Fort Oglethorpe. That's for 1-5-2020. And then we have 1-12-2020 coming up this week. Now, for hospital meal ministry, there is none on the 13th, but there is one on the 20th, and that is the Kingdom Seekers. So please, Kingdom Seekers, make sure that you remember that hospital meal ministry on January the 20th. Let me walk through a few other things that I want to make sure that you know of and that we have going on. One of the first things I want to mention is we're going into the new year. Please be sure and remember the ministry update list that goes out 2 or 3 times a week. And if you're not, you or your encouragers, some of your leaders are not on that, please let Jeanette know and she'll make sure that you get on that list. And it's a great way to follow up with where people are. It's very embarrassing sometimes, and this just happens in all churches, where maybe somebody's in the hospital and just nobody knows, and they go home, or maybe a loved one passes and we just are not able to minister to them because we don't know. And so Life Group is a great way for that information to get back through the chain, for the deacons, for the ministers, and for everyone to be able to reach out. So please make sure that you and several of the people in your class are on that ministry update. Now, the involved discipleship classes are starting back on Wednesday night at 6:30. I think they had the review of that last week while I was out. But let's be sure to get a message out about the discipleship classes that are coming up. Mark your calendar now for D Now, which is March 6th through the 8th. If you would like to be a volunteer to help, please let Daryl Lewis know that. Didn't Daryl do a great job with preaching last weekend? So we want to support him and that group. Now, for things in Life Group, a couple of things just let me mention to you. First of all, one of the things that I'd like to ask you to do is, this being the new year, take a good critical look at your class. And if your class is kind of cluttered, maybe you got a marker board that's not hung, or maybe you got some trash over in the corner, a broken coffee pot, those kind of things. Let's make sure that our classes look very neat for the folks. And if there's anything I can help you to do to get anything done in your class, let me know, and I'll figure out a way to get it done, whether it's hanging a board or getting rid of something that's unsightly. I have even been known to help hang some pictures, because I'm pretty good with command strips. So please let me know that. I guess the main thing that I wanted to cover with you this week is what we're going to be doing in discipleship. Discipleship is going to be a great focus for us in 2020, and we're going to have 11 different areas that we're going to be focusing on in discipleship, and I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more about this in the upcoming sermons from Brother Brian. I'm sure he'll outline a little bit more about what we're going to do, and we'll tailor in Life Group what we're doing to what the overall plan of the church is. But I am going to tell you what I do know, and I have given you this the last couple of weeks, that the month of January we're going to be focusing on what we're going to do in discipleship, and then for the next 11 months we're going to be focusing on each of those different discipleship disciplines, developing those, evaluating ourselves from where they are. And so I'm just going to run through those real quickly for you, and you should have this on the back of your green sheet every week, and I'd like for you to make sure that your people know what these are. And so do be aware that they could change, because maybe a revival date changes or something like that, something that we're coordinating with. So that none of these are chiseled in stone, but we will work through them as we go. January, of course, the focus is on discipleship overall and those different disciplines. February is focusing on Bible study. March is focusing on financial stewardship. April is focused on Christ-centered living. That's going to be leading up to Easter. May is focused on evangelism, which is leading up to our spring revival. June is focused on scripture memorization. That'll be a challenge for some of us. Then July is going to be focused on fellowship. I feel a picnic coming in there somewhere. August, we're going to be focused on loving and serving the church. And then in September, we'll focus on prayer and fasting leading up to the fall revival. And then October, we'll focus on worship and fellowship. That's when we do of course, the fall festivals, and that's a good time for celebration and worship. And then November, praise and thanksgiving, not surprisingly. And then in December, focusing on generous giving. I know a lot of our classes already do those kind of things in December, where maybe we help somebody at Spring Place or find a family that we're going to be helping, those kinds of things. And now we're not going to abandon any curriculums or anything like that. We're just going to do things that augment and help this focus of discipleship within the church. Now, as I said, in February, we'll be focusing on Bible study. I told somebody the other night that we gave a softball for February because so many things you can do in Bible study. And one thing that somebody mentioned to me the other day, and I thought this was a great idea, that we could divide up the Bible between everybody in the church, and our entire church could read the whole Bible in one day. And I think that's a great idea. And then also maybe we might, during the month of February, gather up the number of chapters that we read. It would be amazing if we have 250 people in Sunday school and every person read 4 or 5 chapters a day, how many chapters we could read in a month. I think it could be amazing. And I think that thing, it's just kind of a novel thing, but I think if we as a church can say that, let's say February the 15th, February the 25th, the last day of February, whatever it might be, that we read the whole Bible in one day, I think that would be a great thing for us. I believe that's all I have for you today. Please be mentioning these things. I want to thank you for all you do as leaders in Life Group, and we will be doing these things and among other things this year. I've already laid out a general schedule for, number one, our teachers meetings during the year, and I'll be getting those out to you in the next few weeks. And then also our social Sundays, I'm upping them a little bit. We're going to try to do about 6 this year. I think our folks really enjoy social Sundays, and I want to be just right on that edge of them being too far scattered out versus them being too close together and putting a burden on your classes. And I don't want them to be a burden on your classes. I want them to be something you enjoy and something you can invite visitors to. Please be sure to reach out to your visitors that you have come. We've had several in Life Group lately. And I'll see you in the morning at 8:30.